As part of the Nelson Mandela University Africa Day 2020 celebration, we sat down with chef Khanya Mzongwana. Khanya, born and bred in Port Elizabeth, is a trained chef, accomplished at telling stories through cuisine. The masterpieces tell layers of heritage, new knowledge and experience of a dynamic African. Khanya, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk to us today. You are indeed a magician, a storyteller, through the creativity and the expression you use through the cuisine that you curate, that you excite us with, and that you certainly get all of us liking on your social media page. I think it's important that I ask a very important question. We've got a number of students and a number of prospective students who will be listening to this interview over the week of the university's Africa Day celebration. What made you choose to become a chef?
Well, thank you for having me, Ryan. I think that I've always, since I was a little child, I've always been an artist. I've always been into art. From like as early as I can remember, you know, like I've always been interested in like many different mediums and stuff. And I was always surrounded by women who cooked, you know, who were constantly cooking. There was always, whether there was an occasion or not, you know, there was just always food being prepared around me. And I guess it was one of those things I just couldn't escape. And, you know, with my artistic background and also with, you know, like this food just being this constant and just this source of safety and stuff. And I think also growing up just being like a kid that really liked food as well and stuff. I think that I grew up to try and find ways to incorporate it into my life, you know, while still not sacrificing, you know, my love for art and my love for creativity. So I found a way to kind of make it a part of my life, you know, yeah. So that's something I ended up choosing out of two other prospective careers.
Thank you so much for that, Khanya. I'm certain the other two options for your career choices would have been something in the creative or visual arts as well. So really, I'm sure it's a case of meal of the same bag.
Yes.
In part of Africa Day celebrations, or Africa Week really, that we're celebrating at the university, I think it's important that I ask you, not only somebody who is African or who happens to live on the continent, but I'd like to know what of Africa and what from Africa do you take and infuse that in the creativity, but more important in the expression of the what that it is you do?
Okay, that's a really great question. That's like, I think that there's something about the way that we as Africans express ourselves, or the way that we are known in Africa is we're just known for like how we are just maximalist in every way, you know, like part of our sort of, you know, like visual language is just color, you know, and texture. And I think that food gives such a great opportunity to, you know, explore that and stuff. And I'm just trying to think. And I think like the ingredients, the indigenous ingredients that we have at our disposal, you know, like are really something that I'm discovering fairly recently, you know, like with this sort of like resurgence of popularity of cooking indigenous cuisine and, you know, knowing what is available locally and stuff. And I think that's kind of been informing the way that I cook, you know, like as I'm maturing and as I'm growing as a chef, it's become less important to, you know, emulate what we see overseas. And I'm becoming more proud of my identity and my mvelaphi, like where I come from, you know, essentially.
Thank you very much, Khanya. You definitely shared a lot of depth and a lot of heart in that response. But a celebration calls for some fun.
Yes.
So with this question, I'd like you to consider a very basic question, but I think a very important question. What is cool about Africa for you?
For me, I just feel that, like watching a lot of, I know this sounds super basic, but watching a lot of fashion TV, for instance, just like kind of consuming a lot of different types of media and stuff. If I have to, kind of try and draw a comparison from what we're doing on the continent versus what the rest of the world is doing, there's just something about the way that Africans move and the way that Africans express themselves that's just, it can't be imitated, It's just inimitable and so special. And it's just, sometimes I just watch things that are happening in Nigeria and I'm just like, wow, from a fashion perspective, they're so ahead of the curve and they're not looking to emulate anything that is going on anywhere else in the world, And I think that we are such a focal point in terms of the way that we carry ourselves, our style, our food, our textiles, our heritage, just everything about Africans is just the epitome of cool. And I think it's just such an honor to be part of that, and to be part of creating that. And I think as an African creative, you realize that you have so much more power actually, like to be a pioneer and to be part of kind of creating this landscape of like making things, and you saw it here first, that sense of, I've never seen this before. It's like, yeah, it's Africa. What do you expect?
Thank you, Khanya. That was such an inspiring response that it gave me goosebumps and really made me proud to be sitting down talking to you and in other segments, learning from some of your creativity. Hopefully, getting those recipes right will make me cool like you too. In terms of a celebration, and something I'm sure that you know very well, and those listening to us know equally well, music goes particularly well with a celebration. If I were to ask you, what song personifies Africa to you, what would that be?
The song that would personify Africa to me, I would definitely say Busi Mhlongo as an artist is somebody that really encapsulates how it makes me feel to be a citizen of Africa. And her song Amagugu is the song definitely for me that comes to mind.
Thank you very much, Khanya, for sitting down, for chatting with us, for spending your valuable time in giving us those recipes that the people listening out to us will find on the university's website. And I think such a fitting song to end our conversation that you gave unto us as a gift today as part of the celebration. And the great song by the late Busi Mhlongo, Amagugu, which is what you are to us. our value, our treasure, our worth. So continue shining bright, continue curating, continue putting Africa first in the work that you're doing, and we certainly look forward to hearing from you in the future.